Hey everybody, Roman here on day two of building my natural A-frame, and it's kind of more like a half A-frame, like angled lean-to. But either way, day two is a relative term as well. Basically, I'm spending like an hour or so each day, just because I don't want it to interfere with a bunch of other stuff. I'm not doing this for a living, so I'm just out here just kind of messing around. So I went and chopped down a couple different smaller trees. Again, in a survival situation, nothing bigger than like wrist, forearm size. You don't want to try and handle big old logs. It's just going to be more dangerous, and that's going to be a lot of weight in your shelter. So just chopped down some smaller trees here. I used a hand chainsaw, and the one that I have that I bought, I was going to do a review on. I don't really like that much because the chain is so short that it's hard to get really good strokes in when you're cutting down the tree. It's great for smaller branches, but larger trees, basically anything bigger than wrist size, it's difficult to cut through because it ends up binding up. So I don't really like it that much. So I ended up using my e-tool, sharpening the edge, and then using that as an axe in order to chop it down. Again, trying to live as close to a minimalist survival type thing as possible. Not a lot of people carry axes when they're hiking through the woods or whatever, but an e-tool is a small thing, easy to put in your pack and keep out of the way. So I've chopped down some trees here. I've leaned them up, making sure they're somewhere between a 45 and a 60-degree pitch. Since it's not a waterproof material, I need to make sure you have a nice pitch on your walls, so that way all the rain will actually shed off. After I get all my logs laid on there, I'm going to put branches over top and then start throwing some of this duff, which is dirt and stuff, up on top of there to create an insulation layer and then a little bit of protection from the water. Not quite sure what else I'm going to use. There's a lot of these vines all over the place that I might use these and kind of like weave them in between, but they are thorny vines, so I don't know if I feel like messing with that. Other cool things that I have here, so this tree, these two trees that fell over and actually got wedged between these two trees, create a perfect shelter for me. And then over here, I don't know what I'm going to use this for, but it could be a drying rack. I could use it as a little thing to hang a pot off of in order to cook. You could build a fire underneath, as long as it's a small cooking fire and not a large light fire. Another thing I want to point out with my shelter here is the ground slopes down this way. So the reason that I built my shelter this way, where the wall's on this side, is that way I can build up a little mud wall, a barrier, and then dig a trench. So if it starts to rain and the water starts coming down the hill, I can divert it around my shelter. As opposed to if I built the wall on this side, all the water would rush into my shelter and then get clogged up on that side. So this makes it a little bit better as far as utilizing my environment in order to make my shelter a little bit more safe. Another thing you want to consider is the position of the sun, the prominent direction of the wind. I'm in Jersey and the wind just whips all over the place, so it's difficult to really come up with what the prominent direction of the wind is. So I just decided to build it based off the slope of the earth and the direction of the sun. So this is gonna be a pretty cool shelter. So yeah, till next time.